A bitter battle back competition, another eviction, and plenty of grown men crying. Plus, a two-time Big Brother vet joins us on the panel. Welcome to the Big Brother After Show. Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Tempted by the fruit of the nose.
You guys, it's temptation. Because this is the summer of temptation. I shouldn't have to explain this to anyone.
You're going to have to
It
explain
works, it works.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Always explain it.
Guys, that was my best Julie Chen. I'm so far miles away from it. But I am Bryce McClay. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Bryce Advice. I'm joined by our Big Brother panel. Why don't you guys go around and introduce yourselves?
All right, guys. I'll start. The only girl tonight, once again, girl power. I am Morgan Willette. You can find me on Twitter at Morgan_Willette or Instagram at Morgan Lee Willette because I'm making it difficult.
Hi guys, I'm Drexel Hurd. You can find me on Twitter at Drexel Hurd.
Hey guys, it's Grants Rants. You guys can find me on Twitter at It's Grants Rants.
And you guys, we are so excited because we have a two-time Big Brother house guest from BB17 and Big Brother Over the Top, the runner-up, Jason Roy.
Hey, how are you guys?
How are you guys doing? Thank you so much for being here. Why don't you tell everybody where they can find you?
You can find me on Twitter at the J Roy or on Instagram at the official J Roy.
That's great.
You gotta have the official. It's that Kanye aesthetic.
Yeah, exactly. You guys, we have so much to talk about tonight. Holy balls, Batman. I mean, I don't know what to say about that. But as Julie Chen said, classic Big Brother tonight. So I think let's talk about the eviction. We saw another bitter blind side. Ramses was evicted tonight over Josh after a house flip started by Paul. What is your take on all this, on the eviction?
My thing is, did Ramsey see it coming? Like,
No.
I'm just like, but like deep down, like, let's think this one through a little bit. Like, Paul. We know Josh is loyal to Paul. You know, why did he not think, hey, maybe wheels are turning, like, people might flip this? I don't know. He didn't see it coming at all. I felt so bad for the guy in his interview with the tears. It was tragic.
Yeah.
But I will say I'm happy Josh stayed. I think he's a loose cannon. I think he brings a lot of entertainment. And I'm ready to see what's going to happen in the upcoming week with old Josh.
Knee-jerk reaction, what do you think?
If you can't play to win, then you can't play the game. And I think that, I said it last week, there's a lot of people, we've talked about Paul at the beginning of the break before we went on the air. If you aren't strong enough to be in the house, you probably shouldn't be in the house. And I think that Ramses had every opportunity to be a strong competitor. He's probably one of the smartest in the house. He's obviously a super fan, but as you could tell in his exit interview, the one thing that he said was, oh, well, I lost my one person I trusted in the house, which was Jillian, but he didn't make any effort that we could see, at least in the actual network show, not necessarily on the live feed, that he didn't do anything to cultivate any other relationships. And then the one relationship that he did try to cultivate was Jessica and Cody, and I was like, why would you go there?
Why?
Like if you were going to go to Jillian, then the next logical person, at least for me, would have been like a Raven. Like,
yes.
Go to Raven, go to Christmas.
Or I was even thinking Alex.
But I mean, like, go to somebody who you might connect with that kind of, like, go to Christmas who all the guys cry on her shoulder anyway.
Well, wasn't he with Alex in the beginning? Didn't they have their little outlier group?
Yeah.
What happened with that?
Alex
the
is
very
too
first
strong.
Day?
Way too
But you
strong.
would have think
Too
he
strong of a
rekindled
personality.
I think
something with
that mainly changed because Alex is someone that's playing to win, and
Right.
she has changed her strategy from going with the outsider crew to working with people like Paul. So since she has changed her strategy, people like Ramses no longer a benefit to
Collateral
her.
damage.
His exit was bound to happen. He's a classic pre-jury send-off. He wasn't going to last that long. It's kind of like a shame that they spent so much energy plotting and planning, and Cody's back in the house just to get rid of him, though.
Yeah.
It was
Well,
not worth as much.
Ramsey wasn't sent out because he's a threat. He was sent out, like you said, as collateral damage because it was about keeping Josh, even if it's just to annoy the Jody couple.
Yes.
It's pure entertainment, and I feel bad that the kid is not even taken out because he is a threat. Because since he isn't a threat in the game right now, he's probably someone that we would usually see at the damn Final Four or something.
Right.
Yeah.
So Ramsey actually could have had a real chance of winning this game, even with no real strong relationships, because he was in enough with everyone. He was social enough with everyone. No one hated him,
Right.
but he was nobody's #1 ally.
Right.
I see a point.
And when
Well, let's first talk. Let's go back a minute and let's talk about how we got here. So let's talk about the battle back that started. That's where we first started. We're going to be covering episodes 12 through 15. So buckle up. So the battle back. Cameron, Jillian, Dominique, and Cody have the chance to get back into the house. There are 2 competitions. Cody and Cameron do a maze puzzle, which I mean that frustrated me just watching it because that just is not my type of game.
No.
I love stuff like that.
Yeah, that's very classic Big Brother.
Yeah, they love stuff like that.
Yeah, no, I mean it's just time consuming and it has to be done. So ultimately, Cody gets back in the house. How do you feel? I want to hear you, Drexel, because I know that you have such an affinity.
We know you love
such
Cody
affection
so
for Cody.
much.
So how do you feel about him getting back into the house, and do you think that he deserves it?
I say what I said about Paul. If you're a strong competitor, there's 2 things about Cody that I compare Cody to Ramses in a way. Julie asked them both in their exit, what kind of strategy do you have going into it? Cody couldn't answer that question when he exited. Ramses couldn't answer that question when he exited. And to me, as a new person to Big Brother, but as a Survivor fan, you always have a strategy. Even if Cody's strategy was, I'm going to be the villain and I'm going to terrorize people, but I'm going to be able to kind of nitpick people off as a way. But then Cody's strategy becomes, I'm going to do what Jess says. You know, like you can't.
I
really,
think that's a smart strategy change for him, though. I think that's the smartest thing he could do.
It was.
It's a strategy. I think that's what we should say.
But it's not. It's not something that could advance him so much,
Right.
and it's only making the people hate him a little bit more. So I think that he is just another wasted number in the house.
But you know what? You get down to the end, and if Jessica and Cody are still there, you want Jessica out before you want Cody out because everybody hates him so much. You'd love to sit against him in the
that's a good
final
point.
too.
Yeah. If you're
He
sitting next to
eventually
him.
becomes a Survivor GOAT where you almost want him there
Right.
and you want to remove Jessica because she's clearly been the brains of it. I think that it could work for him long term, but at this point, he's not thinking about his strategy.
No,
he's thinking about their strategy.
Right.
Which could hurt him.
Was I the only one that wanted to see Cameron play? I wanted
No,
him to.
you are not.
I wanted him to see.
I have said since day one, hashtag bring Cameron back. I just
wanted to
This
give
is
him
like
an
the
opportunity.
president of
Just give him
Cameron's
a
fan
chance,
club.
you know?
Cameron, if you're watching this, like, hey, I'm your biggest fan.
I felt
Cameron
bad
for
for-
OTT too.
I
There
feel
you
like
go.
Cameron sat probably in a hotel room forever and ever and ever.
Getting paid, girl. He don't worry about Cameron at all. He got free lunch and meatloaf. Do not worry about Cameron.
Okay.
He is
Meatloaf.
well fed.
Thank God he got meatloaf.
I don't know. I wanted to see him play. The
I
other
just-
one had a chance.
Right.
He
Well,
screwed up.
I'm so curious how Cameron would have interacted being thrust into a house with
Very much.
people already having relationships. I was just so curious who he would align with, what would his game plan be. It would have just been interesting to watch. Like, we knew
Well, what
exactly
theory-
where
I
he's
agree.
going.
Who would have tried
Theorize
to
that.
utilize him?
I agree.
Right.
Yes.
You guys,
He
let's
comes
theorize
in
that.
as not having any spoiled or positive game relationships, and
Exactly.
he'd be a perfect person to scoop
Who do you
up.
think he would have aligned with? Do you think he would have just taken the?
I think he would
Ramses?
probably end up with like Whistlebooger and
Alex.
Wait,
With
what?
Nut.
Whistlebooger and Alex. I think he would have
I
become
think so,
in
too.
with
Yeah.
them.
Right.
I think he would have gone straight with them, and like Kevin would have been like his go-to people.
Right.
But I just wanted to see that. We knew exactly where Cody was going. We knew what was happening when he got back. So I was Team Cameron.
Yep. I agree with
Amazing
you.
television.
Yeah.
I agree.
The
Right.
BB gods could not have wrote it better. I have my job on Twitter is just to dog every house guest ever, and I have gone in on everyone. Usually, mostly after their preseason interviews, but now I've totally forgot what I was talking about, so it's irrelevant.
But I also I also thought that Dominique could have been a really good re-entry back into the game.
Yes.
Because she's not aligned to Jessica, and like she's not aligned to anybody.
And she's smart.
She's smart. She's an alpha female. She knows what she wants, and she had a very clear idea of what she wanted to do in the house and how she wanted to be portrayed.
I wanted to see her play too.
Right.
Who's
She would have been a
one?
much better. I feel like she would have been a much, like, we all hate on Cody, but we probably wouldn't have hated on Dominique so much.
Right.
No.
And we would have been like, well,
She was
Dominique
able to
probably could
gain
win.
more sympathy,
Right.
and plus, we love to see that at your lowest low come back. You know,
Yeah.
Cody's lowest low was a week before that, so we were
Yeah.
kind of over. Like, oh, Cody, you're already out. It's about Dominique now. She got voted
Right.
out tonight.
Right.
Okay, honey.
Well, and I don't know if you guys saw this, but Julie was on James Corden, and she said that she thinks that the game is obviously unpredictable, but she predicted at the very beginning Cameron.
I saw this,
and
yes.
then after Cameron was eliminated, Dominique, and she's like, I keep picking the wrong. Even she doesn't. I mean, that's just, and
Right.
James made a good point. He goes, maybe stop picking the people that are smart. Do you think he's right? Do you think that's a? I mean. Because she's like, she's
'cause
really.
smart players
Everyone's
have
like, she's
won.
really smart, or everything she kept saying was he's really smart and she's really smart and knows what she's
So
doing.
that may be a maze, but that is not about smarts.
No.
No.
I
That's
mean,
about keeping
it's
your
about
cool.
stability and concentration and control and exactly keeping your cool and
Right.
staying in the moment. A lot of these things are really you can't get too psyched up in your head because
Right.
that's when that's when you spend a minute in a corn maze or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
That's when you spend 15
Shit.
minutes on your knees in a corn maze and lose the veto when you needed it
These
most.
these comps
I remember
are
that.
simple, but you can get lost in the grandioseness of it.
It's who can keep their calm. The minute you get flustered is the minute you lose
And
the competition.
Cody is a vet. He's seen all types of stuff and had to deal with all types of stuff, whether I think he's got crazy eyes or not. He can deal with a whole lot more than I can. So him, like, dealing with a puzzle under pressure, Dominique and Cameron and Jillian, she could barely
Poor
even...
Jillian.
Poor Jillian. I
haven't said anything about her.
Jillian really is. She said she was the bad news bear, but she never lied.
That
Like,
poor girl.
Right.
She couldn't catch a break.
Can I
No.
ask you guys questions since you were both in the house? At what point does Josh really mentally break? Like you're saying, you're gonna stay calm
do you know
and
what
be
day they are
cool?
on?
35.
Is it
Yeah,
close?
okay.
Because he lost that from the beginning.
They say day 40 is your, like, this is where you start to lose
Right.
it. I got
Okay.
evicted on, like, day 43 the first time. So I was like, oh, I'm fine. Everyone else is about to lose
Yeah.
it, but I'm out of here.
Like
And-
halfway point.
Yeah, and
the
our,
double eviction.
Our
is
double
when
eviction
I lost
was
my
about
mind.
day 40, and that's when it just becomes, you literally are like, the world doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
And you only know how to live in this house. Like, it is the strangest. And I think that's when people really start going stir crazy. But that's also when we see the creative, like, games and stuff.
Which we haven't seen any of that really
Right.
yet.
No.
Like,
I mean,
I'm tired of
and-
watching them play pool.
We have
and
so much strategy going on this year. There's no time for little fun bit packages.
Right.
There's no James putting honey on handles because we just don't have the time. We have all these temptations.
Yeah.
We got Jessica yelling at everyone every 10 minutes.
Josh crying.
I love that every live episode ends with Jessica in an argument with someone. She is an iconic Big
Best-
Brother
Don't
character
call me
just
Boo-Boo.
for being so argumentative.
Well, okay, so Jessica ultimately wins the HOH and everyone screams into a pillow, and so then she nominates Ramses and Josh, and this is where everything starts to go downhill, I think.
Yes.
I mean, actually, it was already there, but so she wins from they were holding. Remember the holding competition? That just seemed like these
So
games are just.
the OTT.
I've never seen that before. Was that an
2.0.
OTT?
Yeah,
That was
no,
an
it's our
OTT, yeah.
competition.
They were cycling a lot, didn't they? Do the Candy Crush?
Yes, they
Yeah.
are. So we were the test dummies.
We sort of were the test dummies for like
And-
a lot of new comps. They were just
Yeah.
like, let's try this and see if these
toss 'em out
13
there.
like
Maybe they'll like
B-listers
it.
can
Yeah.
handle it.
So, what do you think about Josh antagonizing Jess and Cody throughout that entire competition?
I think it was such a fail.
I mean,
Trying too hard.
it's one of those things where even when you think like, oh, I'm not gonna do that or that's unsportsman. I've been in many a comps where I'm talking stuff on the sidelines, just trying to throw anyone off just a little. I mean, it becomes diabolical. You're at war in there for a lot of money.
I think that I feel like with Jason, I didn't particularly like it the way that he was handling it.
mean Josh?
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Josh,
Yeah.
because he. Like none of the other house guests got in on it, and like they weren't. They were
Oh.
either not egging him
Because
on.
oh yeah, they were.
They were just
But,
watching.
like,
Elena
they were
ran
letting
over
him-
and
they
said,
were
"You
kinda
should say
letting him do
this."
that.
Yeah.
But I was like, obviously these guys aren't going to be deterred by anything because they've had shit thrown all over them. But
Right.
you know, it's like
Josh doesn't-
That was really disappointing to me too. I just wanted somebody just to throw a little bit of trash on someone else. Like,
Right, that was my
like Cody is up to his entire back
Right.
is filled with trash. Obviously, he's not even bothered by this.
well, and the comedian.
So it's pointless to
like
keep throwing it on him.
screaming in his face. I'm like, Cody's a Marine.
Yeah.
There's no
Right.
way.
Yeah.
As soon as the guy came out, I was like, there's no way Cody's gonna move. And then he said
Cody
in his
never
confession,
has
like, I'm
emotion.
gonna
And
move.
Never.
honestly, that's not even that distracting because when we did that comp, I was out in like 5 seconds and I stood on the sound lines the whole time yelling at everyone, positive and negative
Right.
things. And nobody fell because I was yelling at
Right.
them. They all dropped it on their own. So
Yeah, it didn't seem to affect the outcome.
no.
Right. So, and that was
Yeah.
my thing is like, so they give these punishments, and to one extent, I'm like, all right, give it to Cody. But then at one point, I was like, this is getting boring. It's almost like they're just, I want to say like bullying, but I was just like, do it for someone else. Like, just once. Like, throw
Yeah.
It's
someone
so,
else
it's
there.
so easy in there. Everyone's just
Right.
trying to hold on to one more week. That if someone can be villainized, you
Might as
know,
well do
by
it.
the whole
Yeah.
house, and that's what Jessica tried to do this week. She tried to villainize Josh to the whole house, thinking, "Great, it will be so easy. We'll get him out." Da da da. Da. That's not smart strategy because the strategist
Right.
then
Well,
go,
then
"What?"
she starts going back to the same people who screwed her and her dead-eyed boyfriend over the week before. I mean, why wouldn't she go to the other side of the house? Why not
Good
go find?
point.
I mean, a little bit of that is just that it's Big Brother. You run
Right.
out of people in there. You eventually end up on a different side of everyone every week, and sometimes. Speaking of Survivor, it's not about alliances, it's about voting blocks.
Right.
Sometimes
Right.
it's just about this week in this vote and not about what happens afterwards.
But why not befriend Alex? I mean,
was just
she's
gonna
she's
say
not,
that. Why don't
she's-
they work together?
She seems so trustworthy, and Cody already likes her.
Well,
so
didn't Jessica and
I
Alex
think that's
try
the
that?
problem. The problem is Cody
Oh,
already
yeah.
likes her, and Jessica ain't that type of girl. She's
No.
not
I
having
I mean, what
that.
is what is Jessica's game plan with this guy? Does she really see herself like living her days out in
Jessica's
the wilderness
game
with
plan,
Cody?
No, welcome to Big
Unabomber,
Brother.
like-
The only reason you get into a showmance is so you can have 100 extra K followers on Twitter. She's here for free flat tummy tea, a
Skinny
new
mint tea,
a
sugar
new
hair
pair of hair
care.
extensions.
All right, you
She's
guys.
here
some
for
new
all
hair,
some
some
people
new
sound
babies.
bitter.
Someone sent her some new extensions,
Yeah.
so let's be
No,
real.
Why did she
Yeah.
spend the entire
Cool.
episode putting on makeup? Like, was this looked like the Jersey Shore?
I mean, I can't be mad at a girl's contour. From someone who really can't handle their own makeup, I can barely survive.
It does take a
I'm
while.
not mad at her
I'll give
skills.
Jessica credit. It takes a while.
Okay, so then we move on. So then we have the POV competition.
Which one
like-
was this?
I love this POV.
I
I've
did
done
like
this.
watching it.
Now, have you guys done this before?
I've done
Jason
this.
has. I haven't.
Okay.
Which one was the POV?
The one with the
Recap.
smoothie and the
Which one?
explosion.
The
Okay, oh,
explosion.
yes, yes, yes.
My
Who won
season-
your year?
Today.
My year was Young by Vanessa. It was Saved
Oh,
by the
yeah.
Bell
Yes.
theme. We were all like dressed like all Steve Urkel and stuff. That's not Saved by the Bell. And
Saved by the Smell.
but
That was the name of that
Saved
one.
by the yes. And
Oh, good
it's
memory.
actually such a fun comp. Because it's really simple. You just stand there, and it's this memory thing. But by the end of it, when they literally explode paint on you, you just have to sit and laugh and go, "When in my life would when does this normally happen?" And that's
Right.
the best thing about the Big Brother comps is like you can be on this damn like corral in the air, and then you're like, "We're not at the amusement park right now." Like, when have I ever? You know, that's the beauty. Of it.
Right. So it ends. So then we end with, or let's see, who
Jessica
goes
wins.
out? Well, Jessica wins, but who then? A bunch of people get knocked out.
They
right
all
at
go out
They
in
all
like
go
one
quick.
round, and,
And then
it's
it
left
was-
down
it
to
was
Jason
Jason-
and Cody.
It
Yeah,
was
it's
like
down to
Jason
Cody.
Ramsey and then Jessica
Right.
and Cody, and then that nice guy took one for the team so she wouldn't mess
Oh,
her
yeah.
hair up.
I mean, that
That
was
was the
nice,
only
but
reason.
also like the most. Have you seen that girl's hair on
Right, I
live
was
feeds? like
LOL.
they tell you before you go in there, like, girl, don't get this type or that type, or don't do this, don't do that. Jessica did everything wrong.
she really did.
Yeah.
Like by the end of the season, those are gonna be
She's
grown
not.
out. It's
She's
just
not gonna have like.
She won't have hair.
So
But
She's not gonna
anyway,
have
thank
hair.
you to
I thought the
Cody,
same.
like looking out for the girl's hair.
Right.
I thought the
Right.
same thing when I saw Elena though, because I said if she's in there till the end, she's gonna be half. Because she
Oh, yeah.
Oh, she
already
have a
had dark-
very, very strong ombre. That girl is like she gonna have a lot of root.
a lot. She already does.
Well, you
yeah,
know.
get ready.
And that's the thing
Big
too.
brother.
If you win
Right.
HOH and they give you hair dye, it's that box hair dye.
So you-
Elena's got like
Right.
$300 hair job. They ain't gonna
Not
help
using a
her
box.
none. No.
Okay, so that's all very
Hair care.
riveting. Hair care. So
I love
while
it.
this is all going on, Paul is now starting to flip the vote. Do you think that Paul's I mean, do you think he's doing the right thing? Do you think? I still think he's playing too hard, too fast. But
I think
At
that
this point, it's working for him.
yeah, I mean, it is working for him. And like I said at the beginning, at the end of the day, it's strategy, 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 and that's what you should be playing for. And
Right.
like you said, there's a lot of money on the line, and you got to play
And
the
Paul
game.
now really knows that.
Right.
I
Yeah.
mean, and that's sort of why I was there, and I was Ramses in my first season. I was
Right.
just like, I'm so excited to be on this show. I love everything. I love everyone. Like, no, there's people don't want to do me dirty. That would be so weird. And then you come back a second time, and you're like, no, I'm gonna do everyone dirty before they can do me dirty because I know how this went last time. And I think that's basically where I see Paul at. And it's been really easy for him because a lot of these people are puppets, and he's just picked them up and
It's-
put them
The
down. when he
majority
couldn't
of
wants
have
the
been
people
made-
are puppets.
It couldn't have been made any easier for him. He's had the whole game handed to him for at least for the first 3 weeks. He could do
Well,
whatever
but-
he wants.
We'll
but
see
I-
how this new
I
game
can't-
changer
Right.
goes.
Well,
I think
yeah,
Paul's
now
going to
he's
have
a-
a steeper road ahead.
But I-
Well, now, yeah.
But I also think it's another side to that. Like, obviously, the producers can edit what they need to make a show.
Right.
However, there's also a side of people can think for themselves. Somebody in the chat room was talking about Mark and Raven. Like, we don't see them at all.
you mean Matt and Raven, or
Matt
Mark and
sorry.
Elena?
You mean like
thing.
you mean Raven in the sofa.
Right.
Basically.
He's a blue sofa.
But if people played better games, there would be more
You'd
that the
see more
producers
people.
you'd see
Yeah.
more people, and
Yeah.
Paul wouldn't be able to control the game like
well,
he is.
that's the thing. People think, oh, we're just not seeing that person. Maybe that person isn't doing anything for
Right.
you to see of them.
Like
Exactly.
every time we
Yeah.
saw
Ramses.
Ramses, he would walk into the room
Right.
and then leave out, and then the house guests would
Classic
say
Andy
that,
Harris.
Would do
strategy.
Some, like, dance move and
I am
Yeah.
I am
and then
so
wanted
sick
to
of
be
Paul,
and then wanted
though.
to be surprised that he got voted out. Well, Ramses didn't even know you were in the house.
Well, my thing is, why did Ramses not at least fight for Jessica using the veto on him? Like, even in his exit interview, he
no.
said, my biggest regret is not, fighting for my life and being like, hey, use this veto on me. I'm sorry, but I don't care what position you're in. Like, at least attempt.
Oh, I mean,
Like,
you
make
should
some kind of
always be
fight.
trying to do something.
Anything.
But you could also, I do see the, like, getting blinded in there and not really, even my first time, when I got backdoored, I was, like, thinking, it was like, what? Me? Like, what happened? Like, you don't even see it coming at all.
Well, do you think it is
But
a-
what Ramses, I think, should have done a lot more is regardless of he saw that the votes might be flipping before the veto use, he needed to do more campaigning. He really
Something.
He didn't have.
agree,
If
yeah.
you would have asked him this week, like, who do you have for votes? He would have been like, I don't know, the house. Whoever told Jessica yes. Like, he wouldn't have known because he didn't go put in the lead
Right.
work. You have to physically go to all these people and say, no, what are you doing?
Right.
At least then they all have to lie to his face as well. But he
Right.
didn't do anything. He just
Right.
sort of chilled in bed and was like, oh, I'm just going to hang out.
and assume that Jessica would protect him.
Right.
And that's
Never
you
assume.
never assume that somebody's going to protect you.
I
No.
mean, some
wow,
HOHs
yeah.
you can assume they will protect you well, but not
Very ride or
Jessica.
die.
Yeah.
She's not. She doesn't have a social standing in that house to protect you.
Well, he did. Yeah, you're right. I mean, he didn't do any campaigning, and she was just kept assuring him that he wasn't going to go anywhere, and that
And he wasn't getting assurances
feel
from
that
anybody
way.
else.
no.
No.
And it wasn't like they weren't like with Dominique. Nobody was talking to Dominique.
It was
with
clear.
Ramses. It wasn't like they were shutting Ramses out.
Exactly.
Ramses
Yeah.
just did not make his
Like, so
presence
he
known.
had the opportunity to talk to them.
Right.
He just chose not to, which is
Which is
a little
weird
beyond me.
because
Yeah.
in the competition that Ramses won, or that almost won, where he came in second.
Oh, the one he was supposed to throw.
The one that he was supposed to throw.
Right.
Like, that should have been his one moment where he was like, I am a competitor in this game. I can still be an asset in certain ways. You just got to let me get there. And he needed to make that case to certain people
Yeah.
that, yes, I might have come in second in this, but I came in second and you didn't. And I can be strong in certain things if you help me. I can help you, help me in competitions. I can help you, help me in votes, but you got to be able to use me in some
Right.
way.
I just
And he
don't
never
think
did
he's
that.
thinking
Well, I
that
mean,
way,
everyone
yeah.
wants someone that's good at competitions to work on their side, but not if you're not really sure where their loyalties lie. I don't think Ramsey, everyone really knew where his loyalties lie, so he's actually a person
Where
you're
did
afraid.
they lie?
Yeah.
Exactly.
I
Well,
mean,
exactly.
I know.
You're
Still
afraid
don't.
to him
I
to
know.
win a comp, but for a lot of these people, you're like, yes, I want to keep them around because I know they're working with me more than someone else. I think that Ramsey, because he wasn't really with anyone, the unsuretyness of that is good enough for everyone to vote him out.
Do you think he was
It's
just
not bad for Jessica and Cody that it's gone. It's no skin off their back.
Right.
Right.
All they got thought was that their week didn't go right, but they didn't really lose one of their numbers by losing Ramsey.
But do you think that he was just maybe intimidated by Jess and Cody for some odd reason, that he was kind of being so timid and going in the room, or
from
saying,
what I've watched of live feeds, I think Ramsey's is just like myself. We connect with females, and maybe not all females, but we find our niches in people. And he obviously found his niche in Jillian, and I think that since Jillian is gone, he really is like best friends with Jessica. It's like Jessica and Cody and her gay friend Ramsey.
But you know who could have really manipulated Ramsey's a little bit is Kevin.
Well, yeah, they were so close.
Like Kevin could play the board if he really wanted to, because he's like that father figure in the house right now, and he could really like be like, listen, Jess, you like. I mean, we saw what he did tonight with Jess.
Yeah.
Like,
what was he?
And all because they're from New England. I'm from New
I
England.
know.
Why wasn't Kevin on a season with me? Like, I need the New England hookup. Are you kidding me?
Tell me
Kevin
about
is
it.
Kevin is going ahead of everything that he's doing everything that he should be doing beforehand. Like he's stomping on. Well, I don't know how to explain this, but he's
on next week already. He's already securing. Okay, well, Jessica and Cody are going to be mad.
Right.
So I still am going to do what everyone wanted me to do this week. But how do I make sure that they're going to be more mad at everyone else next week over me? Because they might still be mad at me too.
Smart.
But let's
he's
make sure on
implicating
that.
himself.
I mean, he's an OG thug. Of course he's smart.
He's a
Ain't
tan
nobody
dad.
coming. They've put like he is very.
Tan dad.
He's
a tan dad.
He is a.
He's tan dad.
A mirage that we think it's the silly guy with the accent. He's
He's
here
not.
because his personality. No, he's here because he's diabolical and brainy,
Right.
and I think he's gonna do very well.
right.
Well, my question is, will what he's doing is kind of playing both sides, will it eventually blow up on him? That's what right now I think it's working for him.
Right.
But is it going to get to the point where people kind of put two and two together and...
See,
That's
it
what I'm
has
curious
to
about.
be.
But I saw something maybe last week as we were going into this new week of challenges, which where people were like, "Oh, I don't know what's happening on the live feeds." In the sense, from what I gathered, people were starting to pick up that Kevin might have been flipping votes, or that he might have been not voting in the way that he said he had voted. But obviously, that has not concerned people enough to where they're looking. If you look at tonight's vote, Kevin went to Jess, told Jess,
And then
then was like, "Sorry, Ramsey's got to go. I don't know. Let's have Thanksgiving together."
Well, Mark and Paul are kind of on him. They think that he is this genius type person, and they're trying to analyze him. There's got to be more. There's got to be more. So they're already kind of trying to like.
Are you sure it's Mark
take it
and
out of
Paul
him.
or just Paul? Because
Probably
Yeah.
just
Mark's got a lot going on in them shorts, but not upstairs, honey.
I know these people. And the
Poor
other one,
Mark.
Jesus.
Mark needs to
So
wash.
pretty.
He needs
He's
to
so
wash
pretty.
those shorts, and the other one, Matt, needs to wash that orange tank
Oh,
top.
God.
Hey, but I
am
like his
so
shirt.
tired of seeing him in that. Ugh. And then the other, Ramses was wearing it too. Washing her clothes.
You know how it goes in there. You get a little amount of clothes, and eventually
And then you get lazy.
You get
And then
lazy.
it's like, why would I want to change when I
Right,
can wear
and
this
you're
every
like,
day?
why am I gonna look pretty? We're doing nothing today. Nothing. Do I want to just lay around in a pretty outfit? No, I'm putting my PJs back on. Screw you.
But let's
that shirt, though.
actually talk about Matt and Raven and Mark and Elena, because I mean, actually, I feel like I like Mark and Elena more this week, and my has grown. Their like has grown. Oppositely, my dislike for Matt and Matt and Raven has
Whatever their
also
names
grown.
are.
Yeah, I don't even
Yeah.
know. But Raven, I like how she pretends like she's playing the game. Like,
Right.
she gets in the confessional.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
you're not gonna pull one on me.
Yeah, her trying to be sassy today. I thought a vein was gonna bust in her forehead. I'm like, this girl ain't got like she ain't got one heartbeat of sass in her, and she's off here trying to be like, I'm gonna tell you about like Jess. I was like, what is this? The poor Raven.
But the worst part was when she was standing there next to Jessica, and Jessica asked her about the vote, and she was like, "I don't know."
Like, girl, you can
It looked like someone just gave her like some drugs.
I know.
It looked like someone had
welcome to
just
the
gave
show.
her some drugs. She
Right.
was all glazed over,
Like,
like
what?
Like she looked like she was walking around a circuit party. Like
Right.
somebody bring Raven home right now.
Raven was at a rave.
Yeah, like she didn't know what was going on.
And that was
She's
the
like,
moment where I thought it was going to
think
blow,
so.
where Jessica was going to make that decision and be like, "There's no way."
And I thought Jessica was gonna. I thought they were gonna cut to the diary room with
Boop.
Jessica going.
Yeah.
I know that chick is
That'd
flying because
Right.
that was my favorite thing even about my season. I did that so many times, and actually a lot of the times I was wrong, but every time I was right, it was on the damn episode. I'm like, I knew I was right. So like, it's great to see that, and I thought Jessica was gonna be like, she's full of it, and instead she just sort of went, I felt shaky about it. Like, girl, if you feel shaky about it, then
Then it's probably
then
not
the
gonna
answer
work.
is
Right.
no.
But then Jessica goes right to Cody, and he completely debunks the whole thing, which is what she should.
I was
Never
surprised.
She needs to not
listen
talk to
Cody.
him.
Yeah.
Stop
She needs
listening
to just
Cody.
stop talking to him altogether.
Well, like I said, he should be playing her strategy, and he said he was going to do that. But it's really hard in there to keep your 2 cents out of it. So
When, especially for Cody. Cody's somebody, is he really going to follow her for more than a week? No, he's going to want to do something crazy, and
Yes.
he's going to do it because it's Cody's world.
I mean, it does make sense to not put any more people up, though. Cody did put up like the whole damn house the first week, so like having Jessica having to put up 3 people is still not good number wise anyway.
But to your point, Bryce, about the couples, they're coasting by on everybody else's votes right now.
Yes.
They're not doing anything, and that's the disappointing part in this whole thing is if they were to, Mark was one of the few people who made a move to flip on Cody that we saw. Like Matt and
that was
Raven
Dominique's
and
move, but yes,
Right,
I
but
see you,
but-
CBS, not airing
Right.
that. I know
But
what's
it's
going on.
But in Cody's head, like Cody's already doesn't trust Mark, so there's a little conflict there. And so to the audience, that's where the conflict is, and Mark is the one who made the move. Other than the show was Dominique. But unless we start seeing some other stuff, again, to somebody's point in the chat room, we forget that they're there half the
Yeah.
time, and they are just allowing, which is why they allow Paul to control the game, because they are allowing somebody to take them along the ride. Because
but they
when
don't
it
even want to win.
But then when it comes down to the end and you're in
Then
a
they'll-
couple and you're with Paul, now Paul's suddenly outnumbered. He brought all these people to the end that are now going to outnumber him. This is where I stand with them. Raven and Matt are both pointless. They don't know what's going on. They might as well have been on Love Island or Bachelorette or one of
Bachelor
those
in
damn
Paradise.
make-out for champagne shows. Now, I believe that Elena is the new coming of Amanda Zuckerman. She is actually going to be a lot more nicer than Amanda Zuckerman, obviously, but not that nice. But she is more of a
That's
queen
interesting.
bee type. When you remove Jessica, Elena will be the only remaining queen bee lady left in that house, and she's got an attached Mark, who's now a lapdog. That's the easiest person to manipulate. It's Shane and Danielle from OTT. Shane was so pretty, but didn't know what the hell was going on, and she was like, "Come with me, baby. I'll control your vote." So I actually have really high hopes for Elena, but they are coasting by and just really letting Paul control things. But that's fine. Bring us as long as you want,
Till you get
Paul.
down to the numbers.
Till you get down to the numbers,
Right.
and once everyone is at a final 6 or even a final 8, and you can really maybe start to smell that cash. So Paul, baby boo, your days will be done.
All Matt and Raven talk about those just wanting to get to jury.
Which is
just
so
wanting to get there.
frustrating.
I mean, does that piss you off?
Yes.
It pisses me
Yes.
off, honestly, because I
wanna
know the
rip my
jury
eyes
house
out.
is not even fun. So when I know that all these people are like, we just want to get to jury so we can all get drunk and like be debaucherous, and I'm just like, there's no drunk or debauchery, but
Where
you
they
have
don't-
fun.
They don't give them that much alcohol.
They don't jury house. They get what you got in sequester. You get like jigsaw puzzles. Like you want to sit in a room and do jigsaw puzzles for the next 3 weeks? Go on with it, girl.
Where
I
you
can't
could be
root for
fighting for
them. I
500.
can't
No.
root for
No, I
them.
can't
though.
either.
Why bother? If they're happy with that, then who cares? There's plenty of other people who would do,
Like I
would
feel
do
like
a lot more.
I feel like we root more for Christmas, who is like
I really would
Disabled.
who's like disabled.
She's
can't even
basically on
compete.
hospice. I'm like,
just a
somebody
number.
roll her out.
I know. She's like there just to heal, pretty
Right.
much. I would be totally cool if they brought her back when she was healed, but I am rooting for her in this. I don't know why. I don't know if it's like a sympathy thing, but I mean, she was when they did those first looks or whatever they were. I was like, that's the one that I'm gonna watch. So of course, that's the one that I.
Well, we
try
tried. We
Her injury is the best thing that happened to her.
It really
It
is.
is the best because honestly, even Christmas looks like Shelly from my season, but on steroids. Like she got arms bigger than my whole face. She needed to
could kill
be
you.
brought down on competition level for people to feel like you can leave her around because she would have been a comp threat. Now,
definitely.
That's
now
a good
she's
point.
she's just a number threat. It's all
Right.
who's Christmas is. She's a social threat now as opposed to you
And,
know.
and
She's my
if Elena
favorite.
was smart, she would eventually align herself, like use Christmas to her advantage.
She would.
and then start to pick off other people around her. Maybe I would really like it if one of the couples like voted off one of the like
It's
to
gotta
show
happen
it's got to
eventually.
happen.
That's the
But
crack I'm
I'm
waiting
saying,
for.
I'm saying
Yes.
early enough to where we're like, oh, we see the game.
Well, I think
Yeah.
it started this week. I think that we've really seen these three couples, including the Cody and Jessica, but really the Mark Raven, Elena Mark seems to be, I said Mark twice, whatever the hell all their names are.
Matt, whatever his
That
name
seems
is.
to be the double date in there, and I think this is the first time that they've been on opposite sides. We have Elena and Mark Trump voting out Josh, staying with the Jessica and Cody plan, and then we have Raven, and so it's all like now we are getting more division, and I'm hoping that that will be the straw that breaks the camel back of why we can't work with Mark and Elena because of the Ramses vote. Da 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 da.
I mean, and you have to give Paul credit
Although,
because he
please
is.
send Raven home, girl, please. Lord, baby Jesus,
Guys,
all
she
of
is,
y'all.
Raven
she is
has to
ill.
fly?
She's
What?
too
Raven
ill.
need to fly away.
She need to go. She need to go.
She's no
too
better
ill
on
to
the
be in the
live
house.
feeds either. She's no more or less
worse.
entertaining.
Oh, those are some fighting words by Joseph Boza. LOL, Jason was a bigger diva than Chrissy and Danielle. If there was a jury, Morgan would have won anyway.
Yes, that's true. They actually asked that at finale, though.
Did they?
Yeah,
Joseph,
yeah.
coming in hot.
But
Jeez.
but they also had
I know,
people that
right?
would have never been allowed to vote, like Cornbread voted for her. Cornbread was there for like 6.5 days. Like, you didn't earn your vote, buddy.
Cornbread did have an epic exit, I will say.
Yeah, that nobody heard. It wasn't that
Nobody- I
epic.
didn't even know
At
he
least the
said.
bikini girl out speech was like out there. Cornbread like muttered some
Muttered.
passive
And then he
aggressive
didn't even
stuff
know
on the
until he walked
door.
out, and I was like, oh, he was being sassy on his way out. Good for you, Cornbread.
Good for you, Cornbread.
Yeah, well,
Good
good for you guys, you know?
For what? For
Just
having
your
lived with
lives.
Cornbread?
Dirty
for meeting
cornbread
someone named
cheese.
Cornbread?
Yeah,
guess.
I rebranded him everything. Like
We called him
stop
Cornbread,
sign,
stop
school
light.
bus.
I watched.
Anything that had
I
two
watched
Any
every
two
minute.
combined words, which is kind of where we got the whistle booger. I know his name is Whistle Nut, but I don't know.
thing.
I've rebranded him Whistle Booger. I don't know. I just am tired of him in that Marlboro print
Oh, that's
shirt.
another one that needs to put that in the wash.
Right.
Whew, these clothes.
Tyler in the chat room
That's
says
crazy.
that apparently there's conspiracy theories out there about Raven being a con artist.
Yeah.
I can see
there's
that.
a
Well, the
lot.
Raven
I think her and her
Exposed
mom
party.
are
I did
very-
watch
The
that
Raven
video.
Raven Exposed party, honey. Here's the
All right,
It's a
tea.
YouTube video.
Here is the
Film.
tea. She got the pacemaker thing in her stomach. She talks about on live feeds that
All the
she
time.
gonna needs to get it replaced every 2 to 5 years or whatever. There's people that are like medical associates that are like, this chick's lying. You never have to get it replaced. You just get new batteries put in. So like, irregardless of how it works, because I'm not a medical associate, I don't work with the girl's pacemaker. It's BB family advice. His family, stay the hell off the internet. Stop doing whatever. So a lot of people have said, oh, Raven's stuff doesn't seem real, nah. So her mom has gone on, like, Facebook Live to protest,
yeah.
and
Did she, like, do an
she's sitting
interview
there
with
with
doctor?
doctors and stuff, being like, you tell them my child is sick. And that's when it's like, honey, you done lost the plot. You done lost
Don't
the
worry.
plot, and you lost your way. You need to remove yourself and let your daughter, like, honey, lots of America don't like me. It don't hurt me none. It don't hurt my family none. Everyone can think that Raven is a con artist, but guess what? She probably still gonna get money on that GoFundMe. Raven will be
Not
just.
the GoFundMe.
yeah.
Oh yes.
Of course.
Well, that's where it started from. Is that there's this GoFundMe.
Yes,
Oh,
I
wait,
looked
can
up
we
into.
talk that she said that her and her mom were members of Mensa, but then she said her GPA was dance in college.
Her GPA?
Her GPA was dance.
You mean her
Not-
major?
Huh?
No, that's the question.
The,
no,
the
but her
quote
GPA
was her
Was
GPA is
okay.
is dance. But y'all, she's a member of Mensa.
Well, I think anyone can say that. Like, is there a Mensa database that you can go check up on? Like, oh, are you really
I
in
think
Mensa?
there
Let me
Yeah,
see
I
your
knew
card.
I knew someone who lied through his teeth that he was part of Mensa.
Well, where
no one
did I
could prove
see
it.
that Matt Hoffman like looked it up or something and was like, they're not in here. So maybe it is a real.
Well, he
database?
actually is a member of Mensa, so maybe he's got got like the special like Mensa Illuminati phone that
Right,
like
that, like,
goes
you
to
dial
like
up
the
and figure it out.
Scientology church and gets you information about everyone.
I mean, clearly I'm not a member of it, so I wouldn't know.
Well, it
But
doesn't-
Raven is.
All right, you guys. I want to talk about Josh though, and our tornado hurricane combo.
Now he's more
Josh.
like a mudslide.
Oh.
Because it's real runny and it just takes a lot of crap with it.
Oh my gosh.
Oh
He's,
my God.
and no one is more impressed with Josh's game than Josh. He thinks that
Oh
he
my
is
God.
just pulling it out on that show. And everyone's, but what are you doing, really, though? What are you really doing?
I think that what we have to remember about Josh is he's not here to be like Josh's favorite person from Big Brother is Ika, who is one of my favorite people and my best friends. But she's like the crazy girl from Canada. Like
Wait,
she's
who's
the one.
Ika?
Ika
Brother
Wong,
Canada.
Big Brother Canada. Like
Okay, I
she
don't
been in
know.
a fight with everyone. Like epic TV amazingness makes Tiffany Pollard. Like along those lines. Josh is into that. He doesn't want to come here to be Derek. He wants to
Yeah.
come here to be Chima. So let him be Chima.
Who
I mean,
but
I
he
like
needs to
watching
rewind
it.
the tape. I don't know. I don't feel like he's that good at doing that, though.
Oh well, I mean,
You know what I mean?
We
He's
never
trying.
said he was good at it.
Yeah,
We said it was
right.
entertaining.
Yeah.
It's like every episode he
You
has
have
a
those
meltdown.
one-liners. You just need to be ready.
he cries a lot. But what I always have to remind myself, even when I'm in the house, is like I don't feel like I'm that old, but some of these kids are like 21. Like some of them are babes. So like if you're like, why are you crying? Then you're like, well, when I was 21, actually I probably would have been
Wait,
crying.
how old is Josh? Do we know?
I think he's one of the babes.
I
He's
think
probably
he-
like
yeah, he's
22,
23.
23.
He's
Does
under
anybody know out there?
25.
But like, not all the guys can cry. Like, not everybody can cry in that house. Like, Mark.
No.
Mark is a little
cries.
excessive.
Josh impressed me tonight only for the fact that he like pretend cried, and I was like,
Oh, yeah.
That was
What
actually
is
pretty
happening?
impressive.
I loved him crying with like the paint running down his face
Right.
too. Though I was like, just dilute it, girl. It's fine. Like you'll be clean in a second.
just-
But I
fine.
tweeted right before the show. I went right during the live show. I was like, Josh is a fool. No, like Josh is legitimately
is a
a fool.
Josh is up.
Like not because of
He's
any, like,
clown
he's just
emoji.
clowny. He's
Yes.
just a little
Yeah.
clowny.
But why do you say that? Elaborate.
Because he is. I mean, I don't know how to
But,
explain.
yeah,
it.
Girl
I mean,
paint his
he was
face
in
and
the-
call him a clown. Like,
He
like-
was in there talking to a stuffed owl.
Do you think
for
he's
like 20
self-aware?
minutes.
I guess is what I mean.
He is because
Yeah.
every time he would do something, he would look into the cameras in the rooms. He knows exactly what he's doing. However, I'm like, calm down.
I don't think he knows how
He's-
he's actually coming across. I think
No.
he
He
doesn't
thinks
know.
Well,
this
but
is
agree.
so
He
epic.
he
Right.
thinks his passion is just translated as he
And it's
means it, but
not.
instead it's more looked at like you crazy. But I
Yeah.
remember
Crazy.
when live feeds first came on, he stood in front of one camera for like an hour and just was yelling about why he cried and he missed his mom and all this stuff. And it's just like, I think he realizes too much that it's a TV show and the like,
Yes.
I'm gonna talk to an owl. He just saw like Paul become relevant because he walked around with a floaty toy. He just saw Victor play with some puppet. I mean, these people you can go, ooh, like what's my little fun niche? Oh, I'm gonna
Yep.
be this one, and I'm
Right.
so.
the meatballs.
Yeah,
Ugh.
in that room that he was doing the owl thing in, that we actually saw him like talking to a camera today, the one that everyone does strategy in, that camera is very low. It's very in your face. You know when that camera is on you, and that's the one that Scott did his whole, I'm coming for you.
Guys, if y'all haven't seen that, go look it up on YouTube now. It's,
I mean, if there is anything you want to see from OTT, it's a crazy guy Scott yelling in a
it's
room.
probably that.
To the,
Oh, I
to the-
watched that. I
to the
just forgot
crime
about
point though,
that.
to the crime point and people being young in the house, like Ramses never did that.
That's
No.
true.
You know, so like, and Ramses was probably the youngest
Probably
in the
the
house, and
youngest.
so like, I'm just like, what are you doing? Like,
But I don't think he was smart enough to know that he was in trouble to ever cry. That's why he
Right.
cried on stage with
Yeah.
Julie today once
Because
he
it
finally
finally hit him.
realized.
shouldn't
Oh
play
my-
the game. Well,
Yeah.
Cameron
Oh,
cried too.
by
by
the
the
way.
way.
Well, you know,
Right.
when I was in Ramsey's spot, I was sent out very similarly to him, like at this pre-jury point in the game. I cried from veto meeting until Thursday because I knew I was going home, and it's almost good that he didn't have that whole time of crying on live feeds because, girl, I don't need to see those clips, and he doesn't want to see them either.
Right, so
Yeah.
it spared him just a little
Yeah.
bit.
Jason, there's a quick question in the chat room from Michael Horn. He says, as a returning house guest, what do you think about Paul constantly giving advice and discussing his previous season?
Well, you
Yes.
know what? Morgan maybe can attest this because she's obviously the someone that lived with me. I feel like I didn't do too much of that, but
You
I
really didn't at all.
But I also came in there and I'm always someone who downsells myself. Like you'll always be pleasantly surprised with me because I'm gonna tell you I'm way down here. So I was like, I'm not a good Big Brother player. Like and that's why the first week everyone wanted me out because I was a veteran. I was like, can anyone go watch my season and see that I was like the worst player on it? Why is everyone freaking out about me? But I think Paul has a little bit more of a game ego coming in. He really does feel like he came in second and should have won. So he's going to, you know, be messiah to all them. And a lot of these people, you really don't know how to play the game at first. So they are all just like, yum, 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 whatever you say, Paul. Like, you wrote the book.
Yep.
And it's just funny that, like, Paul was a recruit last year. Paul didn't even know what was going on for the first 3 weeks of the game last year. So it's funny to hear him be like, I'm the pro now. I'm like,
well, I have a supplement
I can't handle it.
I have a supplement to that question. Do you think that being a vet, do you think that you had to change your strategy, and do you think that Paul doesn't really seem to be changing his too much, but did you feel like you had to change your strategy going from 17 to OTT?
I mean, yes, because you come in with a strategy, but the minute you really look around, your strategy is like whatever you told them your strategy is going to be. They make sure that can't be your strategy, depending on who's in there. My strategy the first time was just gay glue. I'm going to grab all the girls are going to go, and then I got there and I was like, I hate half these hookers. There's no way I'm working with them. OTT, I kind of came in and said, I'm going to have less of a this is what I'm going to try to do, and I am going to. Obviously, what went wrong for me in 17 is I didn't use the twist to my benefit. I tried to fight them and say, we don't want a twin to come in, we got to get her out, and no. And you just have to roll with that punches and find the golden spot of every week. Every temptation, you have to use it to your benefit.
Who do you think is doing the best job of that in this season?
Good question.
Honestly, it probably is Paul, because Paul has not... He's not even worried when these other people are getting temptations. Like, even Jessica's temptation really doesn't hurt Paul none. All of them are working in his benefit at this point, and that's what I would say that's the sweet spot to be in.
Yeah.
So I kind of came in OTT and was just, like, organic of, like, I'm going to roll with whatever the weekly twist is, and whoever I end up with is who I end up with.
Which ended up working out so well because we had so many twists. So,
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, if you heard
couldn't have a strategy.
You can't have a strategy. Most of the times, like, my strategy was completely opposite going in, and then you get in and you realize, wait, I don't want to be in the showmance. I hate all the guys here. Like, I'm going to be in an all-girl alliance. So it's just really funny to see how that changes when you do go in the house.
Yeah.
On the Paul situation, I'm wondering how long. Well, there's two things. I'm wondering if some of the quieter house guests that we've talked about tonight actually are just using Paul to get them further in the game. And
Favor from America.
Yeah. And when somebody is going to eventually call out, because people can't be that stupid in the house, call out the fact that because anytime Paul will give advice, he'll say something like he'll make them feel like it was their idea. He'll say, "I don't want to give you that. I don't want to put this in your head, but I'm put this in your head.
I'm not telling you what to do.
I'm not telling you what
right
to do right now." Like he has said that every time he has made a decision and that somebody's gone along with it. So either they're not very bright players, or they're using that to their advantage until they can take Paul as far as they can take him, use him as long as they can use him, and then get him out of there on their own. Like, the person that takes Paul out is not going to be I feel like the person that takes Paul out is not going to be somebody. It's going to be the person that wins, and it's not going to be somebody that we think is going to take
who
Yeah,
wins.
it better be the person that wins.
I keep waiting for someone other than Cody to go into the diary room and say, I'm being nice to his face, but he's gonna go. I don't trust him. I've watched him play everyone. He's had a hand in all these evictions.
Right.
When is someone gonna say that? And maybe not to anyone in the house, but at least to the camera.
Something.
Someone get clued in.
Well, Dominique tried that briefly, but I think it was super early.
Yeah.
And she needed to not have that she needed to have that conversation with people that she really trusted.
She wasn't
She needed to find
discreet.
that one person
It
to
was a
say,
little too
here's
open.
what
I
I'm
agree.
figuring out, and then make use that person
But
to
I don't, in that sense, I don't really fault Dominique for that, because I think that she was starting to realize that she had to fight for her life. She knew that these people were going to rally around him. It wouldn't, no time would have been a good time, I don't think, in my opinion, especially if you're on the block like she was. But anyway, you guys, Paul wins HOH. Which I'm sure I know that you were excited.
Guys, I'm just like, I want
was
something unpredictable to happen. Like,
I actually am excited about this.
I think it'll be interesting, but like, I'm so curious. Say Matt, or like, give
Right.
Elena it. I'm so curious what someone else would do. I feel
I
like we
agree.
kind of know what Paul's thinking
Paul will
already.
do.
'cause
Yep.
we
What-
see him
what
But we
so
have
much.
so many balls in the air
But what
right
will
now.
Paul do? I feel
There's
like he's going to have
so
to take a
much going
side.
on that I think the HOH is the most relevant thing that's going to happen this week. So it's not going to really matter what Paul even wants to do, because
the twist.
there's so many chances to save yourself, and then if Jessica wants to, she can stop the
Right.
whole eviction. So for the part of the fandom that is over Paul being in charge with everything, well, guess what? He's gonna think he's in charge all week, but he could be completely bamboozled. So there's, one for the good guys or whatever they
Okay,
consider
all
them,
right, I'm in
whatever
for that,
team
yeah.
they consider themselves. You're getting the entertainment
Yeah.
value of, haha, Paul, you finally didn't get what you wanted.
That's what I've been waiting on.
Well, who do you guys think he's going to nominate then? Because I honestly don't know.
No, I think he'll do Cody and Jessica. Because, I mean, if I was him, like, get the hex out now. Like,
Right.
why would you want to leave that
Fish
for
it out.
another week? Like, fish it out now, get it just done with, and
Well,
then you can move on.
that's a good
But
point.
I'm hoping for amazing BB this week. I'm hoping Jessica or Cody win that new comp.
Right.
One of them are safe. They work together on the
Right.
veto to save the other one. Neither of them are on the block. They can damn save the hex. I want them to stay around as long as possible because they're crazy as hell.
crazy.
I think Mark should be a little nervous. Maybe
I agree.
towards
I think Mark
later
and
after.
Elena.
Yeah, if they
If
change the noms.
I feel like I would put up a Cody or Jessica and Mark because he would somebody would win the POV anyway. Like if Cody or Jessica win the POV or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, the hex would have to be fished out either way. Both of them go up. One of them go up. The steel would still be fished out.
Yeah.
So Paul's move needs to target one of their numbers, plus target them at the same time, plus bring the hex out at the same time. It all needs
Do
to
it
happen
all.
in one
Right.
whole episode, one whole week.
Jason, we're about to wrap up, but I want to know, what do you think about Jessica announcing her temptation in front of everybody at the end of the live episode?
It was Julie's reaction is the best bit of live television we've ever had. Oh, bye! She was just like, I don't know what this is awkward, turtle, goodbye. I think that it's a bold move on her part. She's the only person that knows the official rules of that, you
Right.
know? So she's going to say that, it's damn good until final 3. I'd be, it's making a fake immunity idols and stuff. She can do whatever she wants with that. So it may not be the worst strategy just to yell it out, especially now that she knows, it's not a long time between HOH and noms.
Right.
She may only have one day to try to scare Paul away from nominating them. So spitting it out on live TV with Julie, why the hell not?
It's too bad they couldn't have said it before the HOH, because she could have spun everyone's minds
Oh,
out of
for sure.
control before all of those questions.
That
Well,
would've
she already
been nuts.
lied saying it was save her and Cody. So
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, oh,
Atta
okay.
girl.
That's what it actually said. The
Right.
temptation was, this saves Jessica and Cody.
Right,
Even
right.
like Ramsey wins it, but he's like,
Right.
why am I gotta save them? I don't understand.
All right, you guys. Well,
Crazy.
thank you so much for joining us. We want to thank Jason Roy once again. Thank you so much for
Yes,
joining us. It was
Thanks
so
for
much
having
fun.
me.
Hopefully you'll come back.
No biggie.
All right, guys. You will find us next week. We'll talk about the Temptation competition, which we're still a little foggy on, but we're going to figure it out. I am Bryce McClay. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Bryce Advice.
I am Morgan Willett. You can find me on Twitter at Morgan_Willett.
And I'm Drexel Hurd. You can find me at Drexel Hurd.
Please find me on my podcast, Grant's Rants Hollywood Talk.
Thank you, guys. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye. Did we get our
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
Oh, I missed that.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.